Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Royal Instinct. Today we are breaking down a video of Alex Hormozi and why I believe he is trapped in a miserable life. He is depressed. The words that he uses to describe his life is miserable, is that he is slightly on the depressive side, that this guy has no life purpose. And it is important to have a life purpose, okay? Because once you have a life purpose, everything becomes easier to you. It is very in your best interest to go ahead and discover what your life purpose is, because that is when productivity can take off. That is when life becomes easy for you. Okay, if you want to live life on easy mode, it is by discovering your life purpose, which is what we are doing here on this channel. We are the ones who are advancing. We are the ones who are finding our life purpose. We are the ones who are you know discovering something that the world has never seen before. Okay, we are becoming subject matter experts. We are becoming people who are in charge of the world. We are becoming points of authority, and because we are becoming points of authority, it will be destined for us to become kings of this world. Okay, we are starting kingdoms, we are building kingdoms, we are discovering nations, we are building nations. Okay, we are the ones who are buying private islands in order for us to survive, so that we can become the new elites of the world, so that we can drive humanity forward. Okay, because good people deserve to be in charge of the world, and the people who are in charge right now, they are part of the evil elite. Okay, they are part of the um you know upper class who look down on normal people in disdain. Okay, they want you to suffer. They want you in a position where you are constantly suffering. And Alex Hormozi, he is somebody who who tells himself that oh, it's so great starting businesses, it's so great making money. Then why is this person coming across depressed? Okay, if this guy has found his calling in life, right, why does he come across like he has no soul, that his soul has been crushed? Why is he in this predicament? And we are here to uncover it so that we can show you what the truth is. Okay, this is what we're about, this is what we're doing. Let's dive straight in.
Today's guest runs a portfolio of companies that generates him $700,000 a day.
Don't analyze your fuel. If you need to use revenge as your fuel to become successful, which you want, then use it.
Raised to chase the corporate dream.
So this is somebody who became very successful, allegedly. Somebody who became very, made a lot of money in business, and now he feels like he is qualified to tell you, somebody who doesn't have any money, somebody who is wants to start a business so that they can live a dream life, so that you can also achieve what Alex Hormozi has achieved. Okay, he is now in his mind qualified to tell you what the fuck to do. And some of the advice that he gives is absolutely horrendous. Okay, so this is why you can never just buy into anybody who tells you what the correct way of living is. It is down to you. Okay, nobody can tell a king how to live. That is up to you. This is what we're doing. This is what we are about. We are about getting into our life purpose so that we will never be depressed like Alex Hormozi.
He found himself lost, stuck in
Exactly. He found himself lost, right? And then he was like, "Well, my life is so fucked, right? I'm lost in life. I need to make some money so that I can find and go ahead and be happy." Okay. And let's see if he managed to do that. Because all the way, what you will find throughout this interview that he has given, he keeps referring to his life's misery.
a life that his father had scripted for him.
2025 so far has been the worst year of the last 8 years. At the beginning,
I mean, so he's 8 years into business. Okay, 8 years into becoming very wealthy, and the eighth year, 2025, was the worst year of his life, of the worst year on his business journey. Right? Is this the leader? Right, the person that you're supposed to follow. Okay, that you are somebody who is supposed to build a business, make $100 million offer, raise capital, raise equity prices, do all the fucking hard work. For what's the point? What's the reward? Okay, so you get all the money and you're still depressed as this prick, right? Is this what we are at? Is this what we are doing? He is constantly, right? You'll find in this video, He's constantly telling you how unhappy he is, how depressed he is. I mean, just look at his fucking face. Just look at his eyes.
End of the year, I had 8 lawsuits. People want to be like, that's not fair. It's like, well, life doesn't fight fair.
Today, he's
And he gives, this fake stoicism. He gives you this fake stoic bullshit that, life isn't fair, life isn't fair. No, man, life is great. Life is there to be enjoyed. Okay, you're supposed to fucking live and love life, every minute of it. Okay, and celebrate life like it truly is a fucking gift. All right. Life is too difficult as it is. Okay, life is too hard. Everybody's fucking life is hard. And why make it harder, right? If your life is so shit, if your life is so hard, right, and the only way out is to work like Alex Hormozi, so that you can run a business and still be fucking depressed, is it worth it? Is it even worth it? Right? You have to really ask yourself if that is the case.
rewritten his purpose, educating entrepreneurs around the world and on track to become a billionaire by 40.
What's motivation, right? No one knows. But I can say that it's the equal opposite of deprivation. And so if I wanted to motivate,
So if no one knows, then how can you be certain that it will be the opposite, deprivation? I mean, this guy is constantly contradicting himself. This guy's constantly just talking out of his fucking ass. He has no idea what he's saying. He just says a few lines that kind of sound like they kind of make sense, but he doesn't give you. You have to understand that most people in today's world, they do not have the capability to actually analyze anything that anybody says. Right? So anybody can fucking switch on the camera and talk into the camera and talk absolute nonsense, right? What is important is that you do speak and find like-minded people, okay? And that is what I'm doing. I'm here to find like-minded people, people who understand what it is that I'm doing, who are on a similar wavelength. I am trying to find those people instead of fucking running around making fake $100 million offers like Alex Hormozi.
someone to behave in a way different than they normally do, I'd want to deprive them of
In
something.
this episode, we'll dive
Again, like such negative words he uses. He wants to deprive people, right? He wants you, right, to take the best years of your life, okay, to dedicate it to something that you truly don't even want to, for a life that in the future, you might be very happy. But if you live your life like Alex Hormozi did, in the end, you will also find yourself still stuck in a very wealthy, luxurious lifestyle, but absolutely depressed, okay? Soul crushing, right? I mean, how many people do you know work a corporate job, okay, that find it absolutely meaningless, absolutely soul crushing? They get compensated very well, right? They're paid very well, making a lot of fucking money, right? I myself used to work in finance. I made a lot of money. But was it fulfilling? No, right? So then why does this guy come along and be like, okay, work even 10 times harder, right, for yourself, so that you can get some sort of payout where you still end up fucking unhappy? This is why I recommend that you do something that you love, that you become a subject matter expert. Okay, so that at least when you are doing something that you love in your day-to-day life and you become a subject matter expert, your soul will be pleased, your soul will be feeling alive, it will be on fire, and every day at that moment becomes a total joy. And it will be easier for you to work harder than anybody else because you are working towards something that you truly believe in, something where you find yourself really doing something that you feel like that you are meant to do. Okay, and when you are working within your life purpose, hard work becomes easy, okay, because it doesn't feel like hard work. It just feels like a normal part of your day, a normal part of your existence. It becomes ingrained into your life, like eating, sleeping, having fun, right? That is the moment when work becomes fun, when you are reaching and living your life purpose.
into his frameworks on building discipline, the power and potential found in human suffering, and how anyone can achieve absolute freedom.
This is a guy who preaches discipline, who preaches hard work. If he loves hard work so much, then why does he take testosterone? Right? Why does he take steroids? Okay, I mean, he clearly loves going to the gym, working out hard. He's clearly built big muscles. But why fake it? Okay, why is he on steroids? Why not? If he truly loves it, do you get what I mean? Like why did he decide to go out and find a shortcut into making and building muscle, right? But because if he truly loved working out in the gym, okay, no matter what the cost was, no matter what the results were, right? But you just love the actual effort that you put into the gym, right? Why bother with steroids? Because he wants a certain result and he believes that once he gets that certain result, he'll be happy. But this guy never finds happiness, right? And now he is, infertile. He is on steroids. Um, he is somebody who is, he whatever business advice this guy gives you, he's absolutely lying because he is pushing himself through and taking steroids in order to gain a result. Okay, but he's not willing to suffer and actually build true natural muscles. Okay, he is literally somebody who is willing to take a shortcut, and that is what he is also doing in business.
Alex Hormozi, welcome to the Jack Neal podcast.
Thank you for having me. I hope I live up to that introduction.
Yeah, and his words giving away. Oh, thank you. I mean, it was a great introduction, right? Even though the guy's fucking depressed, the host gave him a very nice, very lovely introduction, saying how great he is, how much money he's made, what this guy has achieved in his life, and then Alex Hormozi, has no self-confidence. Okay, he has no self-belief, no self-esteem, and he comes up, oh, I really hope I fucking live up to the introduction you just gave me. He'd be like, no, like you should own it. Stop with this fake humbleness. Okay, but I don't believe it is humbleness in this instance. I truly believe that Alex Hormozi is living a life full of imposter syndrome, that this guy he knows he's faking it till he makes it, because the way that he built his body is fake. He's not a natural. Okay, he is somebody who is pumped up to the eyeballs with steroids. Okay, and when you are, look, man, if you want to take fucking steroids, go ahead, and work out. But then you can't preach this hard work and disciplined life, okay? Because if he really was about that fucking life, he would have stayed natural, right? He would have just built the muscles that he was meant to genetically build, okay? Instead, he propped himself up with chemicals in order to give you the illusion of this, massive, jacked, bodybuilder type guy, when in reality it is all fake. Okay, I mean, you do whatever you want to do, but don't pretend like you are something that you are not.
I would say it's probably pretty likely. A good place to start here, Alex. So in 2008, the editor-in-chief of the Gilman News published a poem called Drowsy.
Okay.
Do you remember this?
Barely.
I believe that this is a poem that Alex Hormozi published, okay, called Drowsy. Now, the feeling of drowsy is tiredness, halfway between a waking state, you're still half asleep, half awake, you're feeling drowsy, drugged up, okay, when you're drugged up, you're drowsy, when you are boozed up, okay, when you're drunk, you're a little bit drowsy, getting a bit tired, a bit lazy, you're not quite conscious, not quite asleep. This is, I believe, it's a big tell of his internal monologue.
I'll give you a little bit of it.
Yeah.
You're sore, can't take it anymore.
You're sore, you can't take it anymore. Okay. You can't take it anymore. What are those words? Those words are not that of a winner. You can't take it anymore. I mean, this guy, the author of this poem, right? Possibly Alex Hormozi himself, he can't take it anymore. Okay, this guy is suffering. The author of that poem is somebody who is not able to handle the situation that he currently finds himself in.
Forearms cramped from typing.
Forearms cramped from typing. Well, I've never typed for so long. I've written fucking essays, dissertations. I'm somebody who's written reports at work. My forearms have never cramped up, okay, from typing. It's probably because, of the amount of steroids that this guy's taking, working out, that he is getting cramp in his fucking forearm.
Are you hungry? Or is it just another excuse to stop?
Oh, okay. So you're starving. So is that a fucking excuse? No, man. That is literally your body telling you, man, let's have a little break. You know what I mean? Let's have a little break. And this whole hustle culture bullshit, it is leading to a generation of people being miserable, right? If you're somebody who wants to achieve your goals, no matter what, you go ahead, go do it, right? I mean, I'm not here to fucking stop you, right? I mean, this just channel ain't for you, right? But what I am telling you is, a lot of these people that sell you this, fake, hustle, no matter what, work hard, grind now, enjoy it later. These people never reach that moment where they get to enjoy it later, okay? Because this is a poem from 2008 that Alex Hormozi wrote, where he was grinding in 2008. Okay, now we are 18 years after, right? A moment 18 years after that poem was written. This guy's still grinding, still hustling, but he's made it. He's successful, allegedly. He's made the money, right? He's rich, but he's still not fucking happy. So what's the fucking point? When is the moment where you get to chill and actually fucking enjoy your life?
You won't. You can't. This poem reads like someone trying to outgrind exhaustion.
Outgrind exhaustion. That's a great way of putting it. Okay, he is like, a lot of people sell you this dream. Okay, like Kobe or Michael Jordan, for example. Okay, two of the greatest athletes in in the last 100 years, two of the biggest icons in basketball, and a lot of what they're famous for is their mindset. Okay, that the winner at all cost. Okay, grinding, till you fucking can't take it anymore, till your body gives out. What a lot of people forget is they're not grinding at something that they fucking hate. They're grinding at something that they love, right? They actually truly enjoy it. So for them, right, whatever you think is grinding, it doesn't, you can't compare yourself to somebody like fucking Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant, because they're grinding and working at something that they truly love. Okay, so it never feels like hard work for them. It's just like it's a natural extension of who they are, a natural extension of their personality.
And it seems like since a young age, you've always had this level of deep discipline, realizing that hard work is the goal.
Yeah, okay. So big reveal, which I kind of guessed at the start anyway, for fuck's sakes. Alex Hormozi wrote this poem in 2008, right? About him grinding, about him suffering, trying to outwork fatigue. That he is somebody who's constantly going, trying to achieve something that they want, that achieve their goals, right? Yeah, I mean, it's not the same as Kobe Bryant doing it, right? Because Kobe Bryant will tell you in the end, his suffering, his grind, his hard work was all worth it. Whereas with Alex Hormozi, he'll always leave you with a feeling of that this guy does not enjoy it, that this guy's not actually doing what he truly believes, right? I mean, from what I get, right, watching all these fucking videos, is that Alex Hormozi is somebody who is working at something, hoping to get a result, right, a feeling, okay, an internal satisfaction that he never quite achieves, which kind of leaves you with a feeling of that this guy's not doing what he is meant to do in life.
If hard work is the goal, what is the path to getting there?
Hard work is the fucking goal. Like, no, man, fucking chilling, enjoying life should be the goal, not hard work. Like, I mean, that is literally, I mean, if hard work is a fucking goal, then why not fucking just live in the field, plow the field all day, okay? Work, live as a fucking slave, right? Like, why bother, then putting yourself out there, breaking your fucking bones, putting yourself through all that suffering, for zero reward, because the only reward that Alex Hormozi believes in is more hard work, which is like that is not how people live, right? If you met truly happy people, people who enjoy life, whether they're rich, whether they're poor, they are absolutely just having a fucking good time doing whatever it is that you're doing, right? And even if you're working hard, the hard work should be a good time. Okay, so if you're somebody who loves to work hard, loves working out in the gym, pushing your body to the limit, as long as it's a good time for you, right? Like, nobody can tell you shit, right? But if you're somebody who's putting yourself through all the suffering in the hopes of one day having, a great moment in your life, a feeling of satisfaction, which will never come, by the way. Okay, it's just some ghost that you're always chasing, right? And that is what Alex Hormozi is trying to install into your head.
I think it is the path. So I think the point of it is that
he thinks, right? He thinks it's a path. He's not sure, right? He's not sure. I mean, this guy, you know, apparently he's made over $100 million, right? $100 million fucking offer. The name of his fucking book. Um, he's not sure, right? And the reason why he's not sure is because inside his soul, when he took that moment, you know, to answer that question, he thought and he searched his body, he searched his soul for an answer, and he came up with, I think that's the way forward. Okay, he doesn't believe it because he's not happy. He's not a happy man. Right, this person is absolutely miserable. I mean, look at him. Like you know, his shoulders are slumped forward. He's kind of just like, you know, there is a heaviness to this guy. Okay, he's not enjoying doing living his fucking life.
The process itself, like the thing that you do every day, if you can measure success by how closely you emulate the path that you want to follow, then rather than winning once every 2 years.
So, you know, he's measuring things. You know, he's not feeling it. He's not in his body, right? He's measuring success, trying to feel happy, trying to feel like, you know, he is trying to achieve something. Um, Hang on, is everything fucking all right here? Yeah, okay, great. Yeah, he's not this guy's just guessing, and because he is so uncertain, right? Whether about what he's doing, if it is correct, or because of his uncertainty, he's looking at a way to measure. Right. Okay. Well, if I do objectively do everything that I set out to do, and I'm achieving the goal that I fucking want, then I must be doing it correct. Okay. I mean, you can fucking do everything correct, but if you don't enjoy it, what is the fucking point? Okay. You'll literally fucking blow your brains out.
Once every decade, when you achieve whatever, you know, destination you're quote walking towards, then you can win every day because, and really every moment, as long as you're staying on that path. And so I think that's how I think about work.
I mean, come on, man. He sounds fucking depressed. I think that's how I think about work. And he doesn't know whether he actually truly believes what he says, right? Because he's saying the right thing. Okay. Like, I mean, if you read like any self-help book, right? Like any fucking book about discipline, you know, like a David Goggins or like a Jocko Willink, for example, you know, if you read, you know, their grind set books, you know, their stoic philosophy books, right? Like it seems like he's saying the right thing. Okay, so objectively, he's saying the correct thing, but he doesn't even believe it because the words he chooses to word his sentences is. I think that's the right way to look at it. I think that's how you. That's what I mean. I think that's how you become successful. Like he's not talking with certainty. He's not like, yeah, look, like this is what I do, and this works for me, and I'm very happy doing it. You'll never hear that word out of his fucking mouth that he's happy doing it. Okay, it's absolutely, it's an atrocity, and it's very sad.
That's wild that you found that poem.
You had a few others in there. One was called Ice Cream, about a
Okay.
girl who you saw eating ice cream, and it made you sad.
Seems on brand.
I mean, look, I mean, he's happy in this moment, right? He's laughing, and he's like, "Oh, I can't believe you found that." I mean, maybe this guy is not supposed to be a businessman. Maybe he's not supposed to be a businessman. Maybe his true calling is poetry. Okay, I'm not saying it's a fucking great poem that he wrote, but you know, at least there was like him laughing in that moment. You know, that was a kind of, you know, him breaking the fourth wall and enjoying the moment, and a little reflection of his true past, his true nature. You know, maybe he is supposed to be a poet.
Yeah, I think we also found some old yearbook photos. It's
Oh,
pretty
that's wild.
entertaining. But
Hopefully you didn't find, never mind. Well, we had Luigi, whatever the shooter is. He was valedictorian of many years after me.
really,
Yeah, Gilman.
that's fascinating. Were you
Apparently just turned out some very sad guys.
Were you vowed?
Again, right? I mean, hang on. Alex Hormozi went to the same university as the shooter. Okay, Alex Hormozi, Luigi Mangiani. I think his name is Mangiani. You know, Luigi Shooter. So Luigi Mangiano, the suspect in the December 2024 United Healthcare CEO shooting, was found to have previously shared content from entrepreneur Alex Hormozi, specifically sharing a post about productivity and avoiding distractions, noting that Netflix, DoorDash, true crime podcasts have stolen more dreams than failures will. Okay. So I think they went to the same university or school. So Luigi Mangiano went to the same school as Alex Hormozi, and you know he's also seems to be a hero of Louis. So Alex Hormozi is like a hero of Luigi Mangiano, and it looks like, I mean, he was following Alex Hormozi's philosophy, and it led him to killing a CEO of United Healthcare. Right. So again, and Alex Hormozi just, he admits it that his school turned out very sad individuals. Okay.
Were you
Apparently just turned out some very sad guys.
So his university turned out very sad guys. Right. I mean, Alex Hormozi doesn't seem very happy. Okay. Very successful, yes, but happy, no. Luigi Mangiano, right? I mean, got pushed to the brink of killing the CEO of United Health, right? I mean, what am I trying to conclude is it seems like, the advice that both these guys followed, the schooling that they had is leading them to live a life of very sad and desperation. And the words from Alex's own mouth is like, the school turned out very sad individuals. I mean, let's hear it one more time.
pretty
It's
entertaining,
wild.
but
Hopefully you didn't find, never mind. Well, we had Luigi, whatever the shooter is. He was
So this is Luigi Mangiano, the shooter of the CEO of United Healthcare.
valedictorian of many years after me.
So he was a valedictorian of the school where Alex Hormozi went to. Okay, so that is a connection there. And listen to this next clip. Okay, just listen very carefully at this bit.
really,
Yeah, Gilman.
that's fascinating. Were you
Apparently just turned out some very sad guys.
It turned out very sad guys. I mean, that is wild. Okay, that is absolutely crazy. Is it? I mean, you really have to kind of stop and ask yourself. I mean, is it Alex Hormozi's philosophy? I mean, where did he get his philosophy about working hard as something that you actually don't give two shits about? Is it from his fucking school, right? Is it a philosophy passed down into the educational system at Alex Hormozi's former school that also created Luigi Mangiano, who went on to become, one of the most recent, most famous killers in the United States? It's absolutely crazy. It's absolutely wild. And Alex Hormozi's own words, that school has turned out very sad individuals. I mean, sadness is written all over his face. I mean, even this moment is obviously smiling here, but it is a kind of admittance of truth.
Were you valedictorian of your class?
No, I wasn't.
Gotcha. Okay.
No, he wasn't. And then he kind of just looks down. He's like, no, I wasn't. Thanks for reminding me. I was never valedictorian. I was not valedictorian.
I was top 10%.
On
But he was top 10%. He's still trying to look for like a well done and the pat on the
work,
back.
today you preach discipline and consistency, but also sustainability. How do you know if you're working too hard?
So,
I mean, every fucking question that gets asked, he has to just, there's this big, like, you know what I mean? Like, there's like his highs just drop, like, right? Like there's a lack of a drive in him, right? I mean, he might be successful, okay, but he's pushing himself. He's not being carried by his own ambition.
too hard, such a hard concept to like I would be like, what does too hard even mean? I think that you have a rate of output that occurs over a period of time, and if the rate of output decreases kind of precipitously.
And he asked him, how do you know when you're working too hard, right? Which kind of just suggests that, okay, like you really need to be in touch with your emotions, that if you're feeling burnt out, that you know that you need to take a step back, chill, relax, recharge so that you can go again, right? And he breaks it down into like this mathematical formula, okay, where that you have to carry, you have to look at the variables, you have to look at like how much output you're producing, and then you fucking know, every problem that this guy has, okay, any emotional problem, okay, because how do you know when you work so hard? I mean, you could work hard at something but not feel exhausted, okay, because you're fucking having too much fun, right? So, you know, if you're having so much fun, right, working hard at something, but you don't feel it fatigued, right? Like, why not carry on, right? You're in the perfect moment. You're in the zone, right? You're in your flow state, right? So to say, so to speak, right? Like you're in the zone of genius. I mean, just carry on right now. You're gonna ride that wave like a surfer, okay? You're riding that wave of hard work because you don't enjoy, sorry, because you don't feel like it's tiring you out, right? Whereas, I mean, with this guy, it just feels like it's just constantly him just trying to push himself towards working hard, right? It is him rolling the boulder up the upper hill instead of just surfing the wave like a surfer.
At some point, then you're not being effective anymore. And so, like on a micro level, even hour to hour throughout a day, your output will go down, and then you have to sleep at some point. Then you wake up.
Oh no, you have to sleep at some point. Like, oh no, you have to sleep at some point because you can't fucking work hour to hour. I mean, this guy is he's working himself like a fucking robot. That's why he comes across very passionless. Like he's not enjoying being who he is.
Up, and then your output goes up again. And so, I think like the idea of being burned out, like I don't think anyone's like, people don't burn out when they're playing video games. Not
Yeah, exactly. So people don't burn out when they're playing video games because they're fucking enjoying themselves. Okay, they're playing a game, they're enjoying every moment of it. They don't you don't need discipline, or you don't need to motivate yourself or push yourself hard to play a video game. It's like, no, you like playing the fucking video game. You want to get to the next level. You want to improve your stats. You want to be the best player at that game, right? So you allow yourself to spend 5, 6, 10 plus hours. You'll lose sleep, right? You'll forget to eat because you're enjoying so much, because it's fulfilling a part of you, of your soul that you truly enjoy. Okay, so whatever you're working at, if it's your business, if it's your education, whatever, it needs to have the same type of feeling that a teenager has towards playing a video game that you should have towards your work. Okay, but Alex Moses does not have it, because if you're playing a video game that you truly love, you do not feel fatigued, don't feel burnout. But if you're working at something that you don't want to actually truly do, you will experience burnout, because your body will tell you like, oh no, we don't actually like doing this. Can we stop, please? And your body will actively try to sabotage you.
really. I mean, maybe some people, but like for the most part, you can like kind of keep doing it. And I think that burnout just means that the reward for the work that you're doing has either you have habituated to that reward, so you've gotten used to it, so it no longer really rewards you anymore.
So and that is the position that Alex Hormozi finds himself in. Okay, so he has habituated himself into feeling the reward where he doesn't actually enjoy it. He doesn't get no pleasure from it. Okay, and because I've never seen him truly happy. I mean, I saw another podcast of this guy, like that. His one of his role models is apparently Tony Robbins, right? So Tony Robinson, Tony Robbins or Tony Robinson, I forget. Anyway, but you know who I mean, the motivational guy, the fucking 6'7" motivational guy, who talks like this, that is Alex Moses' role model. Okay, but you see true enjoyment when Tony Robinson speaks. Okay, Tony Robbins speaks, right? Whereas with Alex Mosey, everything just seems so hard, and like, what you really have to remember is that if you're tracking every fucking day, every hour of your day, then you might experience a burnout, but it's up to you to push through it. He doesn't inspire. This guy does not condone. He doesn't bring you any enjoyment.
Or the cadence of that reward, which is meaningful, has continued to extend in terms of how frequently you get rewarded, which are both two different ways of basically saying the same thing, which is just you're not getting out of it what you wanted to get out of it. And so I think that is when people, quote, get burned out. I don't think it has anything to do with the amount of work that you're doing. So I think
yeah, because it doesn't matter how much work you're actually doing, you'll feel burnout because your body is trying to tell you something. It's like trying to tell you, look, man, this thing that you think is important, that you're working very hard at, it actually doesn't matter, and we don't actually want it. Okay, this is just something that you, for some reason, have this idea in your head that it will bring us happiness down the line. It's not. Okay, can we just stop, please? Can we go and just chill out and figure out something that will actually make us truly happy in life? Right, that is what burnout is. That is why burnout exists. It's a moment where your body shuts down, where you are chronically fatigued, so that you can go ahead and stop working and pretending that you're very busy, and reflect and work out what you're truly supposed to do, which is your life purpose. Okay, because your body will tell you, man, like, nah, man, we need to fulfill our soul. We need to nourish our soul in order to find happiness.
It's about what's happening around you while you're working rather than the work itself. Because there are, like, if we, like, I like looking at things across like many thousands of years. And
why look at things across many thousands of years? I mean, you're not going to live 1,000 years. Okay, I mean, if you live 100 years, you're lucky if you live 100 years. Okay, and even then, like, do you really want to live the last 10 years from 90 to 100 when your body's barely able to function? Why not fucking put 1,000 years worth of enjoyment into your whole life? Right? Why not flip it on this fucking script? Like this guy's like, well, I want to look at the last 1,000 years, and people used to not be able to fucking flush their own shit. They used to shit in the fucking field. They didn't even have functioning plumbing. Like, who cares? Okay, you live in a modern world. You've got all the fucking tools. Just find some fucking enjoyment. Right, just find something that you fucking enjoy, instead of looking back and analyzing. And even the way this guy speaks, he's over analyzing and sounding like a fucking robot. I mean, this guy looks like he fucking swallowed a chat GPT LLM, and now he's just spitting out these random fucking sentences that sound kind of mathematically smart, but again, there's no life or soul behind it.
so even the idea of a 40-hour work week is a pretty modern invention. And
Oh, is it? Like, who cares? Okay, like, why not fucking work 100 hours a week, but to you it feels like 4 hours? Do you get what I mean? Like, this guy who's looking into the past, trying to find answers, looking into the future, looking at life in 1,000-year quadrants, right? It's absolutely fucking bullshit, because it's bringing you no step further. It is not fulfilling your soul.
if you look at, even a few hundred years ago, people just worked every day. And it wasn't like, oh my God, that guy's so hardcore. It's just like he just worked every day because that was just kind of the expectation. And you just like had to live and had to survive. And if he had enough to eat for a day off, he could probably do that if he wanted to. And so I think about that a lot, which is
Why? I mean, this guy's supposed to be working, hustling all day, and then for the brief moments that he has downtime and time to chill, he thinks about people working 100 years ago, working hard, plowing a field, right? And you don't even know that, right? This is just history, secondhand history that you're fucking regurgitating. A lot of those people kind of worked. They worked up until like 12 o'clock midday, right, for about that 4, 5, 6 hours, and then they'll chill like until like for like 3, 4 hours, until it was evening time, because it was just too hot to be out in the fields at that moment, right? So this idea that people plow the fields for 12 hours a day is absolute lies and nonsense. Okay, a lot of the time they just kind of chilled. They woke up early. Yeah, don't get me wrong, they woke up early to work as the sun was rising, before it became too hot to go outside. And then a lot of time, especially in European countries, you would plow the field in autumn, right, like throughout the summer and autumn, and plant your seeds. And then when you have a harvest, you take your harvest at the end of autumn, and just before, during the summer, like usually there's like 2 harvests. They take the harvest, and then they'll have the fucking winter off anyway, because it's too cold to go outside. You can't grow anything anyway. So a lot of this, that they worked so many hours every fucking day. No, they didn't, right? Because during the winter, they they just had to make do with what they had. Okay, which is why that a lot of their lives were dictated by the seasons, right?
like a lot of these confines are self-inflicted. And I think laddering up the belief set to like, does this serve me? And so the idea of like, how do you develop work ethic? I think the big thing is like,
I'll tell you how you fucking develop work ethic. Okay, find something that you want to do and do it, and then the work ethic kind of just happens, right? I mean, it's not fucking hard, right? You find something that you want to do, right? You find out what your life purpose is, and you just work at it. And how do you know it's your life purpose? Because when you're working at that thing, it doesn't feel like it doesn't feel like hard work, right? And this guy is, telling you that, that you need to develop this work ethic, that you need to dedicate your life to it. Is absolute bullshit, right? Because it is something that's ingrained in every human, and every human has a very unique life purpose that they need to go out there and explore.
It doesn't, like, it's not really developing work ethic. It's doing the things that you have been rewarded for doing in the past and removing things that you don't enjoy as much.
Yeah, exactly. Get doing the things that you enjoy doing and removing the things that you don't enjoy doing. That is what a good work ethic is, right? And this guy is overcomplicating it, and you can tell that he's overcomplicating it because he does not come across very happy.
And then it gets easier to do more because you enjoy doing the thing you're doing. Now, let me be clear. I don't like, there's overhead. Of course, there's things that I do that I don't enjoy doing, but
yeah, I mean, most of his life that this guy's living, he doesn't enjoy doing, right? He does a lot of things that he does not enjoy, which is, you can see his soul is heavy, his face is heavy, his eyes are heavy. He does not enjoy living the life that he has.
there's food that you eat that you don't immediately like, but maybe you liked as
Like, why does it have to come down to, yeah, of course, man, like, fucking just eat your broccoli, right? Like, just shut up. It doesn't have to become this whole, um, crusade of you're disciplining yourself to fucking eat spinach and broccoli. It's like, shut the fuck up and just eat it and just move on, right? Like, because you're also, as you eat this fucking spinach, vegetables, and broccoli that you don't enjoy, right? The green beans or whatever the vegetable that you don't enjoy, you're supposed to eat something fucking tasty with it, right? Like, you're not just supposed to eat fucking horrible food. You're supposed to eat healthy food, okay? And sometimes some of the healthy food doesn't taste that great, but you mix and match it and pair it with something that fucking does taste good, okay? Like, that's why you eat fucking like spinach with like a nice juicy steak. Okay, the steak is delicious, the spinach is good for you. You eat both together, so that with every bite, you kind of hide the horrible taste of spinach. I actually like spinach, so I don't mind, right? But you kind of you mix and match it, so when you overall assess the fucking meal, you don't think about the horrible food that you just ate. You just remember the delicious steak that you just had.
dirt. And that's like, so it's really just like, again, it's a cadence of reinforcement. It's like, how many times am I being reinforced over a period of time? And maybe, if anything, the thing that gets developed is that you develop a history of being rewarded for delaying gratification.
I mean, this guy just sounds so fucking boring. Delaying gratification, the history that you've developed. Just do something. Just find out what you're good at. Become a subject matter expert. Okay, become a point of authority. And once you're seen as a point of authority, that's when you get to live life on ease mode. That's when you get to live like a king. I mean, Alex Hormozi, he conducts himself and presents himself as a subject matter expert in business. Okay, and because he's a subject matter expert in business, supposedly, people come to him and ask him and looking for guidance, ask him questions to look for meaning. And I mean, this guy just makes it up as he goes along. He has no meaning in his own life, right? So taking advice from somebody like him is the worst decision that you could ever make
Over a period of time. But, it's like,
there's so much pain in his fucking voice. You can just hear it.
it's like, it's weird. Like,
It's really weird. I mean, like, if he was doing something that he truly enjoyed, like the words would just come out flowing out of him, okay? But because he does not enjoy what he is doing, he finds it difficult, because deep down, I believe he kind of knows that he is giving people false hope, that he is giving them the wrong advice, right? Which is why it's very difficult for him to speak candidly on this subject.
I get a lot of, I mean, even like the intro that you gave, it's like, I get a lot of press, if you could call it that, or like flowers for.
He gets a lot of press, right? Like, let me tell you why this guy gets a lot of press, okay? First of all, he pays for the press that he gets, okay? This guy, nobody gives a fuck about him, okay? Like, if you Google his name on YouTube, all the results that you're going to get back is like these interviews which he has paid to appear on, okay? Because Alex Hormozi is a boring guy. Like, nobody cares to speak to him, okay? Nobody wants to speak to him, right? And most of his information is he puts out himself from his YouTube channel, and then he pays clipping agents, right, who video editors who clip up his short his long form content into short form content, which he then puts on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, right, to drive traffic to his was it acquisition.com.org, right? It's a fucking funnel that he's building, and then he goes like, oh yeah, man, loads of people fucking ask me. No, man, they ask you because you've pumped out so much fucking content, pretending that you're this subject matter expert in business, and then when people actually were like, all right, well, you know, if this guy's apparently a subject matter expert in business, I'm interested in business, let me ask him a question, right? So they come to him asking a question, and he's like, oh no, please don't ask me. Oh yeah, you know, but people could ask me all the fucking time. You know, like you put yourself in a position to have that type of attention, and then when you do get that attention, you don't even enjoy it.
Having, you know, huge work ethic, but like it just doesn't feel, and it isn't like, oh, I do what I love. I'm miserable all the time. Like,
there we go. There we fucking go. He's miserable all the time. Okay, right? $100 million, miserable all the time. Is it worth it? Right? Why would you take advice of somebody who's miserable all the time? Right? I don't care if he's got $100 million, right? He's fucking miserable all the time, right? Like, would you rather have $100 million for the rest of your life but be miserable, or have a decent amount of money where you can just enjoy your life and have a good fucking time, right? Like, you would have the good fucking time, right? Like, because what's the point of the $100 million if you're not going to fucking enjoy it? Do you know what I mean? Like, say what you will about Andrew Tate, right? At least he's rich and he enjoys his life. Okay, with Alex Hormozi, like, what the fuck is the point, right? He doesn't even enjoy himself, right? Like everything's miserable about him. Everything's a fucking chore. He's literally, like, people ask me all the time. Ask me about discipline and like, but I'm miserable myself all the time. I'm like, well, why? Like, tell them that you're miserable, and then they won't fucking ask you for fucking advice, right? Like, he paints himself to be this savant. He paints himself to be a subject matter expert, but he's not. Okay, and that is why I recommend that you become a subject matter expert in something that you enjoy, so that you do not end up like Alex Hormozi. Okay, that you should be happy in what you're doing, man. Like life is too short to fucking spend spend it being rich. Basically, my estimation is, right, this guy, he saw a way to make money. He was like, okay, if I make more money, it'd be fucking great. He went down this path, and then he saw people like Andrew Tate, using his short form pyramid scheme to become famous. And he was like, well, if I become famous like him, making shorts and making long form content, I will be really huge on social media. And if I'm so big on social media, people will come to me offering me their business ideas, and I'll just be able to invest in the really good ones. Okay, which is what acquisition.com is all about. Okay, his company that he runs now, right? So he wants to be an investor in companies that people come and pitch him, right? But he has to make so much content, right? He has to make so much long form content and speak so much fucking bullshit, which deep down he knows, right? He doesn't actually believe what he is saying, right? That it's leading him to now live like a fucking shadow of himself, right? He is literally not being true to himself, right? He's playing a character, playing a part, and it is grinding down on his soul, right? You can see it in the way that he presents himself, right? He is not happy. He's making himself small. He wants to be swallowed up by the ground and hide so that he never has to be publicly facing again.
it's like there's plenty of times I'm miserable for extended periods of time.
Extended periods of time, this guy's miserable, right? He's miserable all the time for extended periods. It's not like he's miserable like once in a blue moon. Like, no, right? This guy is constantly miserable. Okay, and this is the so-called subject matter expert in business. This is the guy that people look up to get business advice from.
I just don't really know what else I would do.
He doesn't know what he wants to do because he has no life purpose. He has no drive, because he's not in touch with his soul. You have to understand, right? Like, he's not in touch with his soul. He's pushed himself and stayed disciplined for so long now that his soul, wherever it would be like, hey Alex, let's slow down, let's do this, and he'd be like, no, I need to do this to make money, and his soul's just given up, right? Like, his soul is like a like a wounded puppy, like a wounded dog inside his body that he's constantly just fucking beating, right? So every time, the little puppy, the little dog comes out and be like, hey, look, can we go for a fucking walk? Alex Hormozi is like just hitting him, be like, no, we need to grind, we need to work harder, okay? Acquisition.com. Like we need to, we need to do more reps, we need to focus more, work hard and be more disciplined, right? He's beating that dog, so many times the dog doesn't come out anymore. The dog, the little puppy inside of him, the little dog doesn't ask, can we go for a walk anymore? Okay, it's just there shivering, cawing in the corner because he knows that Alex Hormozi, is not about that. He's not about enjoyment. He is all about just making his balance sheet bigger, but his soul is suffering. Okay, he is unhappy and miserable all the time.
And so work is just kind of like my default setting. And so
Work is my default setting. What a horrible existence. Okay, like I don't really know what else I would do, right? He doesn't know what else to do because he's lost touch with his soul, right? Like maybe just chill for a bit, bruv. Like go out, with your missus, start a family, have kids. Like I swear this guy's like in his like mid, late 30s, 40s. He's got no children, right? Like maybe to have some fucking children in your life, okay? Like the laughter of a child in your house, like the little giggles from a toddler, will melt your heart and bring some joy into your fucking life. Like at least do something like that. But no, it is all about grinding. It's all about, I mean, this guy is doing it absolutely the wrong way, which is why you can see on his face the burden that he carries around. He's lost touch with his soul. He's not happy. He's miserable. He doesn't know what else to do because he's not a human anymore at this point. He is just all about just being a repetitive worker for his business. Okay, he's not a businessman. He is a slave to his business.
So people are like, oh my God, that guy works 7 days a week on end. And it's like, yeah, but it's like,
who cares about working 7 days a week? What's the point, right? Like people like him bash like a 9 to 5 so much, right? Like working for somebody else, right? But you, whether you're working for somebody else or you're somebody like Alex Hormozi pushing yourself to exhaustion, you're still a fucking slave, right? Like I'm sorry, right? Like you're not enjoying your life at that moment. The whole point is to get freedom, right? Which is what we are about here. The Royal Atlanta Kings that I'm building, it's all about living a life of freedom, enjoying life, okay, living a life of luxury, right? Not like this guy dressing like a fucking lumberjack, not even getting a fucking haircut. It's absolutely wild. um the charade that this guy is putting on.
so have many people. I'll give you a different frame to like contextualize this. So so we have a team here, we have an advisory practice, and for the team to spend all day with clients in person, it's like, oh my God, this is exhausting and we have to present and all that kind of stuff.
Of course it's exhausting because nobody wants to fucking do it. If you found a group of people who love presenting, who love talking to people, who love to sell, right? Like if you built a team like that, right, like you wouldn't have this like, you know, trepidations towards hard work. Okay, like oh my God, like we have to do all this fucking these presentations. Like no, you find a group of people who fucking enjoy doing it, right? And that is how you become successful.
And I was like, well, I mean, teachers present in front of groups all day, every day.
Like why? I mean, this guy, every little fucking scenario, he has to make an analogy out of it. Like teachers present every single day, okay, and that's what we are. We're teachers. Like, yeah, man, teachers present every single day because they fucking enjoy teaching. Okay, it is their life purpose. Is their, they enjoy feeding information to younger children. Okay, educating them, mentoring them, guiding them. Okay, but if it's not your life purpose, and no matter how eloquently you rephrase it, it's still fucking bullshit to you, which you won't enjoy. And that is the problem that you have with these guys like Alex Hormozi, right? Like he saw people, right, like probably Gary V, Andrew Tate, all blowing up, and he was like, I could do that, right? But it's not what he's supposed to do. Right, this guy is not supposed to be like those people, which is why it is a absolute fake it till you make it. But in the process, this man has lost his soul
All the time, and it's not like a big deal. It's just like that's just how it is. And so just
what type of advice is that? It's like, oh yeah, man, I don't like presenting and doing presentations for clients. And he's like, well, teachers present all the time to the children in their classrooms, and it's not a big deal. Like that is like That's absolute nonsense, all right? Like the very okay, if he's supposed to be such a great businessman, right, and manage and a manager of people, right? The first step is like find people that actually enjoy doing the fucking tasks that they're hired to do, right? He went wrong by employing people that don't enjoy doing the fucking work that they're paid to do, right? And then he has to come in and be like, give some fucking fake ass analogy about them, teachers teaching presenting to children, right? And that is not such a fucking big deal. It's not a big deal to people who like to fucking present to clients.
Reframing something that we see as the big thing as something that somebody else in a different context does all the time is probably the most regular practice that I do, which is like how.
No, it shouldn't be a regular practice, okay? That Alex Hormozi is hiring the wrong people. It's as simple as that, okay? He's not good at hiring people, right? And if you're running a business, especially $100 million business, right? If you're, really because especially if you're running a very large company, a lot of what you do as the head of that company, a CEO for example, is about delegating, okay, and finding talent, nurturing talent, managing talent, right? And it all starts from getting the right people into the right positions, right? And this guy's clearly failing at that because he is getting people who don't like to present, right, who don't like to sell to clients, and then he takes those people and tells them, right, now I need you to go out and sell and present to our clients. And they're like, well, no, we don't like doing that. And he's like, well, teachers teach children all the time, it's not a big deal. Now that we've reframed it, go and do it. It's fucking nonsense. All right, this guy's absolutely chatting shit out of his fucking ass.
How can I? In what universe would this not be hard? In what universe would?
Who cares what universe, right? Like you only have one life, okay? And maybe we live in a universe where there is multiple dimensions, right? Multiple timelines where every single permutation of your life is playing out, right, at any given moment, okay? However, you in your current timeline have no fucking idea what is going on in the other fucking infinite timelines. Therefore, just focus on your 100 years that you have on this fucking planet, right? I mean, if you're watching this, you're probably at least 20 years old, I imagine. The next 50, 60 years, and make that a good time for yourself, right? Like, instead of fucking worrying like every other fucking permutation and wasting time overthinking, overanalyzing, okay, just fucking go ahead and find something that you like, right? Something that you're good at, do it to your best capabilities, become a subject matter expert, right? Be seen as a point of authority, crown yourself king, and that way you have a great life. Okay, you get to join the other kings here at the Royal Alliance of Kings that I'm forming, the Amichis that I'm building. You get to join us and live a cool life. You get to live a life that you truly enjoy, which is what we are all about.
This be normal? And well, then I'll just live in that universe.
Well, that's stupid, isn't it? Because you don't live in that fucking universe, and you're also, if you could, look at all the permutations, you look at every single timeline, right, and you'd pick the timeline where you're most successful, most happiest, right, where every little metric that you measure your success in life at is, maxed out, and you live that timeline, right? However, that's not how it works, okay? And if that is how truly Alex Hormozi looks at life, right, then why has he come across like such a miserable prick? Right? Why does he come across like a sad, depressed person? Right? It's not working, right? Whatever this guy's trying to convince himself, right? Because it's not about convincing other people at this point, right? He's trying to convince himself, and he's failing, right? And I mean, like, I'm not even trying to take the piss here. I'm not trying to make fun of him. I'm just trying to wake you up to see the truth of the way that he presents himself is not what he wants to be. Okay, there's a disconnect there, and only somebody who pays attention is able to pick up on that. Okay, and I'm telling you, man, following a guy like that, okay, is going to lead to a life of misery. Okay, and is that where you really truly want to end up?
Makes sense.
Yeah,
that's kind of how I think about it.
I guess to go off what you're saying, I think it's common sentiment preached online, like I wake up at 4, stop working at 10 p.m.
Sure.
And I guess what I'm curious is, it seems like you believe that people have throughout history worked for extended periods of time, but is that on mentally strenuous tasks necessarily, because I think of this podcast, for instance, and you might get diminishing returns, but if I recorded 10 podcasts in a day or 20 podcasts in a day, I'm probably going to do it differently than how I would do it if I were doing one in a day. You might put different types of energy. It might be more passive. You might be a little less active listening. So do you believe that you can still build that muscle of working for like mentally strenuous tasks?
Absolutely.
Really?
No question. No hesitation.
Even for writing, like you've like gone like 16 hours. Really?
Absolutely.
And do you have any advice for building that metric?
Doing it more.
I mean, that's his advice, just do it more. But at what cost? Okay, at what cost? The guy comes across unhappy, right? The guy's telling you to work hard, right? But what's the point if you end up like Alex Hormozi, absolutely miserable?
Like, I mean, 100%. It's repetition. It's volume. Like what?
Repetition and volume sounds boring though, right? Like, I mean, like the people who tell you to hustle, right? Like they're always also the people who aren't actually living a life that you want to emulate. Okay, people like David Goggins, like, you know, like he's all about, you know, doing things during tough moments and working hard, but he's also does, you know, he's been married like 3 fucking times. Okay, you know, i- ask any of his fucking wives, his current wife, his ex-wife, like it's very difficult to be around like a guy like David Goggins, right? He doesn't have any relationship with his I believe that one of his daughters is estranged, right? Like that's not a role model in life. Okay, like, yeah, great, he's tough, he can, you know, do ultra marathons, okay, and you know, he can push past pain, but it's also, you know, it's not a very happy life, right? So you kind of have to ask yourself, like, what is it that you're after? Like, is it do you want to live and enjoy life, or do you just want a result where people kind of look at you and applaud you, but deep down you're just a piece of shit, right? Like that is the question that you need to ask yourself. And I'm here to tell you, like, why not have both? Okay, why not do something that you're very good at, that you get, you know, applauded for, that people love you for it, but at the same time you also live a life that you truly enjoy, a life of freedom, where you get to, you know, that timeline that fucking Alex Hormozi was talking about. Like, why not build that actual timeline for yourself, where you're successful and you fucking enjoy life, right? Like try and do both, instead of what this guy's trying to tell you is just to be this repetitive machine, you know, that has no emotion, that has no feelings. Okay,
You just like fundamentally, if we describe a behavior set within a given condition, then it's a skill that we can develop. And we develop skills through modeling, and we develop through role playing with basically seeing what other people do and then doing it ourselves. And so like, it doesn't matter what you're trying to learn. If you like, and it's just that there are some skills that people think reading, people think math, people think like public speaking, like these are all skills, but it's like, in what way does podcasting not fall into that category? In what way does having a conversation not fall into that category? Of course it does. And so I don't see it as any different. The only thing is that you want to have some sort of feedback loop so you can make it even better. But even just the fact of just like, after every podcast, if you had 5 minutes, you're like, okay, what did I do well? What can I do better? And then the next day, review.
I mean, who would fucking do that? Like, you know, you fucking just, you know, done a fucking whole podcast, and then you sit to yourself, what did I do? What can I do better? Like, it's like yeah, great. I mean, be reflective, but the way that these guys kind of say it, right, isn't in reality how it kind of works. It's like, no, you probably have like a team, and you sit together and be like, what do you think we've done great, you know, in the last 10 podcasts that we've done, and people list it out, right? And you analyze it, you throw it back and forth, you have a real fucking interaction with people, instead of, you know, the way that this guy is telling you, just have a conversation with yourself. Like what can I fucking improve? What can I fucking improve? It's like, it's the wrong way to go about it. And a lot of what this guy is doing is posturing and is very performative.
Doing all the podcasts and then doing it again, like eventually you would no longer get fatigued from it, because you'd habituate. And so for that one podcast, if you only do one a month, you're probably gonna have, you know, your adrenals will dump while you're having the podcast. You have, you know, anxiety, your heart rate goes up, you start sweating. But if you do it all the time, then it no longer creates an adrenal response, because you were just accustomed to doing it. And so, I mean, my goal is just to go through the habituation cycle as fast as humanly possible, so I just get used to it.
So he does not actually want to go through the journey of you know, of doing the thing of success. Okay, he just wants the end result, and not feel the highs or the lows. He just wants the result, but then when he has the result, he doesn't actually enjoy it. Like that is what I'm getting from him. Okay, that he wants as quickly as possible to habitualize himself. Okay, to doing, being good at whatever skill that he wants to good at, and then once he's reached that point, okay, he won't enjoy it though. It'll just be another thing that he can then be like, yeah, look, now I can, you know, um, now I've achieved this skill and I'm very good at it. I've got it. Like, okay, great, good for you, man. Like, but you yourself are not even enjoying it, right? Nobody cares that you've got it, and they can see in your eyes that you don't even enjoy having it.
But like, I'll do a consulting day for 12 straight hours, and I'm pretty fresh at the end.
No, I doubt it. I doubt it. Do you know what I mean? I think he's just being a robot, right? And you also have to remember is when you know when you habituatize yourself, right? Like this guy's saying, okay, when you're trying to make every action that you do very repetitive to the point that you're quite good at it. You also take out a lot of the variables and the a lot of the creative room, okay, because you're trying to be so good at something, right? Like he's talking about consulting, okay, so he wants to be very good at consulting, so he'll look at all the metrics of a business, okay, of giving advice, and he'll be like, okay, you need to do this, and he's trying to be a cookie cutter, right? But he doesn't allow for creative sparks, creative thoughts to happen, okay, because he just wants to do something, do it, on autopilot, do it so much that it becomes habitual, right? And once it's a habit, like you're not going to think of a creative way to redo it. I mean, for example, like everybody brushes their teeth. Okay, everybody brushes their teeth at least twice a day, I'd imagine. I hope so, right? If not 3 times a day. But you do it and you do it the same way every single time, right? Like it's a habit at that point. Okay. I mean, obviously, you're not going to fucking think of a creative way to start brushing your teeth, right? But in the same way where you do it, you don't even think about it, right? And because you're not creating the space for a creative new way to look at it, you're not going to get any new fresh ideas, right? Which is what this guy is depriving himself on, out of, right? Because each situation and each business that he's consulting on is different, and sometimes you need to think and have out of the box ideas. But because he is giving cookie cutter answers, he is never reaching in that place.
And I enjoy doing it. I like doing it.
But when he says that he likes doing it, that he enjoys doing it, do you even believe him? I don't believe him. I don't believe him. I think he's telling porkies. He's telling us lies. He's absolutely talking out of his ass, and I feel sad for him.
And so, and I'm not saying that like that's how I've always been. It's just like I've done it over time, and answering questions even ad hoc. It's like, how can you answer questions? It's like, well, when I'll tell you 2 different stories. So when I gave my first public speech, that wasn't in high school. When I was in high school, I was really nervous because I didn't know the subject matter that well because it was, Civil War, whatever, right? Or,
I mean, let's just go back. Hang on.
Goes up, you start sweating. And that wasn't in high school. When I was in high
I mean, you can see there on the left. I mean, was he part of a fucking wrestling team, right? Like he's ripped. He's got some muscle on him there. I mean, on the right, is he on steroids there at that point? I don't know. Okay, but like the guy on the left there, the image on the left, him at high school, right? He's got a good physique. Okay, he could have just carried on just lifting weights and gotten to the age of 30, 40, wherever he is now, okay? And he would have just gotten bigger and bigger and bigger, right? Like he could have stayed natty and stayed disciplined, but instead he tried to look for a shortcut in order to look more jacked, okay? And it has brought him zero amount of happiness in his life, right? Like because he comes across as miserable, okay? His soul is miserable. He is not a happy person.
school, I was really nervous because I didn't know the subject matter that well because it was, Civil War, whatever, right? Or, pro or cons, affirmative action, whatever. You have to make some debate. Fast forward, I get on stage. My first stage I ever spoke on as a business person had 1,200 people in the audience. First stage ever. And I remember as I was walking up on stage, I was like, why am I not nervous right now? It was like very weird. I was like, I should be nervous. Why am I not nervous? I've been nervous all the other times I've spoken. And so I thought about it, and it was, I have been doing 8 public speaking things a day for years, because at my gym, I had a microphone, same headset, big speakers that I could hear myself on. And I had a bunch of adults in a room that I had to tell what to do. And I did that every single hour on the hour, 8 hours a day. And then I still ran the business on top of that. And so I'd done that for years. And so when I got up on stage, I was like, oh, I'm just telling another group of people while I have a headset on about something that I already know about. And so that was kind of the making, where you start to have, domain generalizations, like, okay, something I did here also applies over here. And so it doesn't need to be a big deal. And so that kind of pattern recognition of like, what other time have I done something like this that it wasn't a big deal? Why can't I just use that as the frame of reference for how I'm going to think about what I'm doing right now?
That is how fucking boring it is, because the interview just goes, Like, I mean, yeah, great. You've done something so many times, you're not nervous anymore. It's like, but it's that's not the fucking point here, right? Like, we're talking about whether him habitualizing everything to the point of where he is still miserable. Okay, he is not allowing himself to be happy in any given moment.
That's a really good answer.
Thanks.
You kind of have this philosophy of people like to do things that they're good at, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of comes from building volume over time.
Yeah.
Is it your belief that most people know what they're good at?
No. Well, I'll say this. You do what you have been rewarded for doing in the past. And that is kind of like my North Star of everything. And that's basically the behaviorist view of the world.
I mean, that is the worst advice, because when you're a fucking baby, your mother fucking might even reward you for fucking drinking milk out of a fucking tit. Do you know what I mean? So should you, if you've been rewarded in the past for sucking a titty dry, is that what you're gonna do for the rest of your fucking life? Okay, sometimes you have to try something new, right? I mean, think of the Wright brothers. Okay, nobody before ever developed an airplane in their life. Okay, in the world, right? So that what they came up with, right, the ideas that they had was absolutely new, creative thinking, out of the box, right? And this guy's saying, no, you should do what you're getting rewarded for. I mean, a lot of times, look, like you have to look into your past and be like, well, which moments was I truly happy? Let me do that, right? But sometimes you need to do something. You need to try new things and find new ways of approaching life, because sometimes you might try something new and find something that you totally love, which you've never even tried before in your journey within your life.
Which is, people do what they've been rewarded for doing in the past. So, quote, bad people just behave that way because they've been rewarded for behaving in a, quote, bad way in the past. And so they do it. And if they've been punished for doing that, and punish doesn't mean from an outside source, it's just something happened that they didn't want to have happen, an aversive stimulus. And so they would stop doing that, right? And the difficulty is attribution around the skill. So it's basically, where's the causal relationship coming from? And typically people will look at what happened before something, like what's the trigger, and that people use that word. But the trigger is false. It's really, the trigger is just the circumstance that gets created that repeats a behavior you've done in the past that you've been rewarded for. And so I gave this example when I was talking to Graham, but I'll bring it up because I think it's useful. It's like, Layla and I would get into some sort of spat about something, whatever. And I realized that I wouldn't get into a spat, but like if she was crying about something, and it didn't have to be related to me, but she could just be crying for whatever reason. I realized that I tended to get angry when she would cry. And she was like, why do you get angry at me when I'm crying? And I would get angry, and then she would stop crying, because then she would get defensive, but the crying would stop. And so she inadvertently rewarded me for getting angry at her in the condition of her crying. So the trigger.
I mean, I'm gonna let him finish, but I'm telling you what the solution is. Right? Don't get into a relationship with a woman that you constantly having fucking arguments with, where she breaks down crying and you have to get angry. Like he's in the wrong type of relationship. Okay, that is what the problem is here.
For me, getting angry is her crying. Is it, or is it the fact that when I have gotten angry in the past, she stopped? And so, like, okay, well, why did you get angry the first time? Because that would be the key question. And so what ends up happening is that if you encounter an obstacle that you don't know how to overcome, you do basically something called an extinction burst, which is a series of different behaviors to try and elicit the desired result. And so the easy.
I mean, you know, the other thing is you don't want a fucking perfect marriage either, right? Because perfection is boring as well, right? Sometimes you need the rough and the smooth. Sometimes you need, um, you know, to have moments in your life that, you know, you can compare and contrast. Okay, if you have perfection every single fucking time, then you're not going to enjoy the tough times, you know, that you've had to overcome to enjoy the good times. And I think like what I'm getting from Alex Hormozi a lot is that he's kind of scared to navigate difficult circumstances, and you know he just wants everything kind of smooth, predictable, okay, to the point where, you know, he knows what's going to happen, he knows what he has to do. You know, he wants, you know, to have this, you know, total control over it, and he doesn't know how to react to spontaneity. Okay, he doesn't know how to react to things and problems that come up. Okay, and he likes to overcome them because he feels like that is the only way that he can control his world. Where sometimes you need to be able to, you know, if someone throws a punch, you kind of need to be able to, you know, take the hit and then react after. Okay, you can't just block every fucking punch that comes your way, right? And with, you know, because he's got this mindset of that he needs to be able to be in control of every situation, that when he came across a woman who he clearly is not compatible with, right? And she's giving him, you know, causing him a headache, pissing him off, making him angry. She's crying, she's acting erratic. Okay, instead of him being a fucking real man, being like, well, you know, me and you are clearly not compatible. You know, my behavior makes you fucking cry. Let's break up and, you know, go find people that we can actually are more compatible with, right? Because he didn't want that uncertainty of being, you know, now that I'm with this person, I'll have to go out and find a brand new person, because that's going out into the unknown. That's going out into an area where you are not in control. We don't know what might happen. You know, it might still be like another 2-3 years after, you know, to the moment that he meets like a new woman that he can fucking date, right? Um, because he didn't want to go through that uncertainty, he then decides to stick with what he's got and tries to fix it. And then he has to analyze every fucking permutation of what is going on. Well, if I behave like this way, then she might react that way. You know, and then like, it's not a great way to live, right? Like, I'm sorry, like it's not a great way to live, right? That he has to, because he's too, like, I mean, it's like this. Imagine you have a car, okay, and the car breaks down on you, okay. The car keeps breaking down. Instead of him going out there, throwing away the car, okay, and going out there and buying himself a new car, right? He's like, nah, I want to fix it. I need to fix it. Okay, right. The engine does work. Let me fix the engine. Okay, like the tail lights don't work. Let me fix the fucking tail lights. Let me fix the spark plugs. Right, like he's trying to fix his situation because he feels like he has to, right? Where sometimes you just have to fucking let go and be like, well, okay, this didn't work. Let me go over there and try find something new. Let me try something, find something better. When instead he is always trying to solve the problems that keep coming up, which is why he is stuck in his life.
Just way of thinking about this is like a 4-year-old kid who's at a candy, you know, the candy aisle right before they check out, and they say, I want a candy. And so the first thing they'll do is say, Mom, I want a candy. And then the mom says no. And then the child changes behavior and says, please, pretty please, blah, 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 blah. They beg. That doesn't work. So then they shout and scream. And so all they're doing is basically flipping through the cards of behavior. They don't do this consciously, but they're just flipping through the cards of behavior until one of them gets them what they want. And so then when a parent has a child, for example, that has...
I mean, that is an awful analogy. Okay, so basically he's saying like, okay, if there's a problem, let me try different ways of solving a problem until something fucking works, right? Whereas instead, right, stop acting like a fucking child and grow up and be a grown up about it. Okay, and go put yourself in a situation, remove yourself from a situation that you don't enjoy, and put yourself in a situation where you can fucking enjoy your life, right? Which is, again, you know, it makes sense that this guy is not he's afraid of the unknown. He's afraid of trying something new, and he wants to be in total control, which is why he is addicted like a little child to what he has.
Tantrums repeatedly, it means that at some point earlier on they had a tantrum and then they got what they wanted.
And it doesn't matter, right? Because you could have a fucking kid. I mean, like if I cried, if I wanted to, like a chocolate or candy, whatever, a sweet, if I cried, my parents will beat me. Do you know what I mean? So trying and throwing tantrums and this analogy that he's giving, could put you into serious trouble down the line, right? It can really end up in you getting your ass kicked.
So what you did is you rewarded tantrum having rather than rewarding non-tantrum having, right? And so when I think about this with regards to what was the original question, so I can find my way back
Do most
home.
people know?
Yeah. So again, here is a perfect example that this guy is just speaking, making up examples, telling you these random stories that he's probably pre-prepared, right? And then as he's telling the fucking story, he's like, "What was the actual original question? What point am I trying to answer?" Because he has no idea. He's trying to control the situation, right? He's trying to control and give an answer that he thinks will work and he will sound smart. But down the line, he doesn't even know what the fuck he's talking about, or the question which he is answering.
Know what they're good at.
Yeah. And so the thing is that we have been rewarded for doing things in the past. And so when people are like, why are you the way that you are? I would just say, like, I have been rewarded in the past for behaving this way. And so I just continue to seek out those rewards.
Yeah, okay, but if you being rewarded in the past and then you carry on doing that in your working life, if it's leading you to live a life of misery, okay, a life of sadness, okay, to the point of where you're depressed and miserable all the time, your words, not mine, right? I mean, he admitted, I mean, go to number, I think, minute 5 or 6 of this original podcast. He clearly says that, he is miserable all the time, that he only does what he does because he doesn't know what else to do, right? He is literally too afraid to look into his own life, into his own depths of his soul, to figure out what should be doing, what he's supposed to do. And he doesn't want to try something new. Okay, he doesn't want, because he's afraid of failure. He's afraid that if he lets go of his current job, of his current work, his current business, because he hates it and he doesn't enjoy it, if he now leaves all that behind, okay, and goes and tries something new, right, he doesn't know whether he'll be happy there either. Okay, and because he doesn't know, he's too afraid to go through that process of trying to find something to be good at, something that he will actually enjoy, and it leads to him never reaching a point in his life where he's truly fulfilled or happy.
And so these behaviors have worked for me. And the thing is that these skills generalize across domains. So like working hard, for example, it's like if you do something where you have an extended period of time where you have effort before you have a reward and it works out well, then I'm more likely to repeat that behavior in another condition. And so people are excellent at Netflix and chilling. People are excellent at delaying tasks. People are excellent at avoiding confrontation. Why? Because they've been rewarded for doing so. And the problem with it is that there's multiple different types of reward that happen over different timelines. And if this sounds complex, it's like, that's why it's a whole field of study. But basically you have latency is the biggest confounder for a causal relationship around a behavior. Meaning Facebook can addict you because there's a little light that turns red, but it's immediate. So they will better addict people to Facebook by giving that dot immediately than saying, I'll give you $1 in 30 days. Now, the people who have been rewarded in the past for waiting over a period of time or for working would do better with the delayed reward. But most people don't have that kind of reward cycle. They've never done anything for a long period of time. And so I think the laddered up question is like, how do you get people to just try that first time where they're just willing to push out when they get rewarded for the work they're putting in? And the answer is, I don't know. I think at some point people call it chance, call it, they read some article and they decide to actually try something for an extended period of time. But I guess I would reject the original premise of the question, which is I think many people are good at many things. They're just not good at the things they want to be good at.
I guess.
I mean, this host, don't get the feeling that he has no fucking idea. Like I can imagine like Alex Hormozi is kind of like, he asks a question, Alex Hormozi answers the question, and the guy just kind of zones out. Like he seems like a fucking robot himself, right? Like he literally seems like, this guy's a puppet, a mannequin. He literally, rubs his fucking chin a couple times, right? Asks a question that's obviously written on a piece of paper, and then he kind of just sits back and says nothing. I mean, the guy has zero personality, right? Obviously he appears like a fucking theater kid. Okay, he can cosplay as somebody who is an intellectual interviewer, I guess, right? But you can see that this guy's fake, that this guy is not, the real deal. The problem is though, right? Like most people can't tell the difference, okay, which is why they end up believing and be like, "Oh wow, man, he asked such interesting questions." When he is truly coming across, I mean, this whole chin rubbing business is absolute fucking stupid. The way that he is looking and the way that he's coming across.
To get more specific, how can people identify their competitive edge? Because an example I think of with your content.
I mean, let me tell you how to fucking get your competitive edge, okay? If you do something and you're better at someone else, that is a competitive edge, okay? If you can't identify your competitive edge, okay, but most likely you're not doing anything that you're fucking good at, and most likely, the things that you're doing, other people can come here and do better, okay? That's the easiest way to identify your competitive edge.
Then, for instance, you run like a big media channel, and if you're posting, let's say you're looking at results and you think, well, motivational content seems to be doing well. Let's push out more motivational content. But it's not like maybe you don't consider, and I'm assuming you do, that maybe it does well because Alex has a nice soothing voice. Maybe it's because the visual hook is the way the set looks. A lot of people don't consider like the multiplicity of factors. Like, how can you get better at identifying those things?
I mean, how do you figure out what you're good at?
Yeah, because there's volume and then there's also reflection on the volume. And how do you get better at the reflection portion?
Yeah, so it's volume times feedback loops. So if you think about skill acquisition in general, now this is relatively well documented, but like you do if I want to learn any new skill, so rather than saying like, what am I good at? I think it's sometimes more valuable to say like, what do I want to get good at? Now, people have quote proclivities, or they're like, oh, I'm naturally predisposed to these things. Maybe, but you can't control your genetics, and maybe you don't know. And maybe it was just a nurture thing that earlier on. I remember I had this, and I will loop around to the answer, but I was in college, and one of my favorite professors, he taught a class called systematic inquiry, which is basically like, how do you ask questions and answer them, which is great. And he's a super nurture over nature guy in terms of like his thought process around the world. And I tend to skew more towards the nurture side as well. And he said, like, all the things that you guys think you're naturally good at, you're not naturally good at, you just got good at them earlier. And so I was like, I've always been really good at languages. And I was like, I feel like that's something. And he just looked at me and he was like, I mean, do you have a parent that speaks another language, or there's someone in your life? And I was like, oh yeah, both my parents are bilingual, and I spoke French as my first language. And he was like, why are we even talking? And it was like it felt so, because I didn't see I was like, it was so natural to me that I didn't even think about it. But the very first, my existence.
So basically, you're good at something because you got lucky at it, okay? So he felt like he was good at languages, but in essence, he just happened to be born into a multilingual family. Both parents spoke different languages. So as a kid, he picked up multiple languages, and then he assumed he was fucking very good at it. Again, it is absolute, the worst advice that this guy gives out, okay?
Was 2 languages. And so incorporating third, or even seeing English differently, was something that, quote, came natural to me, but it was just like I had a different skill set that was repeated earlier on. And so to the original question in terms of.
So he in essence just sees humans as programmable robots, okay, that you do something, you become good at it, and then you can just go ahead and do it, okay? Whereas it's a little bit different to that, okay? It is something that should bring you total enjoyment, okay? You're supposed to do something that there's a drive to it, okay? It's like, something that cannot be stopped, okay? You're meant to be doing something that if I told you to stop it will actually make you fucking physically sad, okay? That is the level of things that we are trying to get you to do, what we are trying to make you good at, okay? That is the things that want you to be a subject matter expert in, right? That if you were to stop doing it, you would be physically unhappy.
Skill acquisition, it's like you have a volume of activity that you're doing. So if I want to learn how to, play the trumpet, it'd be like, I'm going to play the trumpet for an hour, and then I'm going to look at other people who play the trumpet. And
no, because say you have 2 people, okay, and they're both playing the trumpet, okay, but one person actually enjoys playing the trumpet, and the other person just feels like they have to be good at the trumpet, okay. The person who actually enjoys playing the trumpet, right, and they do the same amount of hours, okay, 100 hours, let's say, right? The improvement that person who plays 100 worth of hours playing the trumpet, who loves playing the trumpet, his increase in skill level, his improvement level is going to be much greater than somebody who spends the same amount of time practicing playing the trumpet, but doesn't actually like doing it, and it's a chore, and he doesn't kind of want to do it, and he's doing it, but he's not really engaging with it. Um, that person's not going to be as good as the other person. It's just simple as that. So it's all about just finding something that you're very good at, something that you enjoy doing, and marrying the two. And the other thing is, when you work at something like that, when you become very good, spend time doing it. First of all, it's not going to feel like hard work for you. You're going to enjoy every single moment, or most of it. And you know as you increase and get better, you're going to find little blind spots. You're going to be able to find new ways of doing it, which is much better than other people. And that is how new information comes to be. Okay. You might find a great way of playing the trumpet, and um, come up with a new composition, a new sound, right? Like, you could only do that if you're somebody who's in the life purpose, okay? And that is what I want you to do. That is what I want you to be. That is what we are doing here on this channel. That is what we are about, okay? We don't want to end up like Alex Hormozi, fucking depressed, okay? Acting sad, going on fucking podcasts saying that I'm miserable all the time. No, I want you to be fucking happy. I want you to live a life where you are truly enjoying every single moment, living a life of freedom. That is what we are doing. That is what we are about. Okay, this is your moment, right? If you ever thought in your life you're supposed to do something great, that you're supposed to, be the hero in your life. Okay, be the hero in your movie. This is your chance to do it. Okay, I will help you every step of the way. That is what I am doing. This is a bat signal I'm sending. I'm assembling the Avengers, okay, and together we will form a royal alliance of kings, build kingdoms, building nations, and overthrow the evil elites, the evil fake, you know, fake voices on the internet, the fake people who are ruling the world. We will replace them, and we will bring together a new dawn, a new, usher in the next evolution for humanity, because humanity deserves to be governed by good people, which is what we are, and that is what we're doing. That is why we will succeed. But that is it for today. Thank you very much, and I will see you tomorrow.